Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Wendy Tietz, and I'm going to talk about our CAT concession supply beginner Excel data cleaning project today. My co-authors on this project are Tracy Miller-Nobles and Jennifer Canis. I am the only one presenting today because both of those co-authors are busy with other projects today, so it's just me. But I'm glad to have you here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, this set of projects we're talking about the Excel beginner data cleaning project today. It's actually part of a larger set. CAT Concession Supply is a fictitious company. CAT stands for Kent, Austin, Tampa, which is where the three of us are from. And there are over 300 records in each data set, and we'll be talking about the different software tools, but there are different data sets for each individual project. There are 6 possible software tools used here. Today, we're going to be talking about Excel. So we're going to talk about the beginner Excel project, but this project also comes in a combination of Alteryx for the data cleaning part and Power BI for the visualization. It also comes in Tableau Prep for data cleaning and Tableau for the visualization. And we also have it in Google Sheets. Now, we are going to talk about Excel today, but just know that those other ones exist. There's also 2 difficulty levels. Today, I'm going to focus on the beginner level. And the beginner level projects take, generally speaking, 20 to 30 minutes to complete from start to finish. There's an intermediate level project, and those take 45 to 60 minutes, so a little bit longer. There's a little more to do in those. So all told, there's 7 possible project assignments. So we have the Excel pair, we have the Alteryx Power BI pair, Tableau and Tableau Prep, and then Google Sheets. And today we are focusing on Excel Beginner. So with this project, the students download the data set that we provide. Students use real software. And I want to point out that this is a good skill to have. I'm always surprised at how I have students who have difficulty when they download a data set finding it. And that's a real life skill they need to have. So I think this is the beginning of the skills that they acquire from this project. So they have to be able to download and save files and find them, and we guide them through that with everything in the project. So again, we're talking about Excel Beginner project today, but these things apply to all the projects we have. We include step-by-step tutorial videos. We include a student guide, which is a handout, couple pages with instructions for students, links to the videos, frequently asked questions. We have teaching notes. We give you a data set. You are able to edit the data set as you see fit, and we'll talk a little bit about that coming up. The projects assume no prior software knowledge at all. So you could take a student that doesn't know how to use Excel, and by using the videos, they would be able to do the project from start to finish. The beginner projects generally 20 to 30 minutes. The intermediate ones can go up to about an hour. The basic learning objectives for these projects, first of all, when the student finishes, we hope that they can define ETL and describe its importance. They can apply basic data cleaning techniques and analyze data. Now, we thought that it was important to have an ETL project because so many times we give students homework, we give them projects, and the data is all ready to go. They dig in, they start using the data. And we develop these projects because in real life, data cleaning takes up a lot of the time with a project. With doing analysis, you have to clean your data, you have to look at it. So that's why we did these projects. So why do we have all the different software tools? So again, Excel is a familiar tool for most students, and most students have access to Excel. So that's why we started with Excel. Excel's there, it's that workhorse. We know that students are going to go out into the work world, and we know they're going to use Excel because it's a common denominator. Even if they use other software in their job, when they get files from clients, from customers, whatever, usually those come in an Excel format and then they can load them in something else, but everyone has to be familiar with Excel. Alteryx and Tableau Prep are leading ETL tools. So if you're wanting to go a little deeper, those are the way to go. And then I started about 2 years ago, right after the pandemic hit. I started developing the projects that we do in Google Sheets. Now, Google Sheets is a lot more limited than Excel. But what I found when the pandemic hit is it really brought out the fact that some students didn't have access to technology like everyone else. We had some students who only had Chromebooks available to them, and you can't run Excel on a Chromebook to do these projects. So that's why there is a Google Sheets project option available for most of the things that we're developing now. That's so if I do have a student that absolutely cannot access Excel, doesn't have a laptop, but has a Chromebook, Google Sheets is an option to give that student so that at least they can participate and get some of the information, some of the knowledge. I wouldn't say it would be my first choice, but it's certainly there, and I have used it to kind of equal access. So Google Sheets only has a beginner version because of inherent limitations in Google Sheets software, but it's there. So just keep that in mind. Google Sheets is there. Every project. So these projects, including Excel Beginner, start with step-by-step videos, no prior knowledge assumed. The Excel project has two parts. First of all, it starts with cleaning the data. So the students are going to go through a set of steps to clean the data. So they get this data file, and then they're going to be guided through. I'm going to show you some of the steps that they do. And then once they have the data cleaned, our thought process was, what do we do with it now? We've cleaned the data. Well, we want to show the students why. So we have them create a little dashboard. And the dashboard serves two purposes. First of all, it's the why did we clean the data? And second of all, it gives us a convenient way to assess whether they did the data cleaning correctly or not. So I'm going to narrate through the beginner video a little bit here. I'll give you an idea. And what I want you to take away from here is the level of support we provide for the students. So this is the first tutorial video. And it starts by saying, okay, open the Excel file. The first thing they do after they open that Excel file is they widen all the columns. And we show them exactly where on the screen, where those arrows, where the options will be that they need to select. Not only do we provide them a step-by-step tutorial video, but we also provide these in PDF form so that if they're more comfortable reading it, they can see the slide with the script below it, so they have the option which they prefer. So we walk them through exactly what they need to do, what it should look like. We blur the data, so we're not giving the answers away per se, and a lot of times we don't want to focus on the answer, we want to focus on the process. So that's why you'll see some blurring going on there. So that was step one, to widen all the columns so we could see what was going on with our data. Step two, we have them find and remove duplicate records. Now, this we're telling them there's an option on the data tab to remove duplicates, select all and click OK. Now, this is important. I'm sure that you're like me. About half my students have Macs. And Macs, the Excel for Mac is similar to Excel for Windows, but it is a little bit different. So what we've done on these Excel videos is when there is a slight difference between Excel for Windows and Excel for Mac, there'll be a purple dialog box on the screen that just highlights that difference. If the screen looks significantly different, we do a completely different slide, but it's the same video. So your Mac users are not left out. I know that would always be frustrating if I'd issue Windows, Excel Windows videos, and then I would get questions from my Mac students. So over the years, I've learned that we're just going to include both in the same video, and they're supported. So then it shows them they found 3 duplicate values and removed them and how many records remain. This is a tutorial data set. I told you that the data set includes over 300 records. This one says 108 because we did the videos with the tutorial data set, so it's a little bit smaller. So then after they've removed the duplicate record, they need to remove spaces and non-printing characters from the text. So an example of this is the first column of the data set. You can see it has some different spacing, and then it has these weird little rectangles. Those are actually non-printing characters that arise for different reasons. There's actually 27 different ones, and they look the same. So if you were to just try to do a search and replace, that's not going to work because there's a lot of different ones in here. So this is going to show the student how to get rid of this. I think this is a fairly common thing that we see when we have data. There'll be spaces weird in there and things that we don't really recognize. Well, there's two really cool functions. We start by cleaning the data, which removes those non-printing characters, but then we wrap it around with a trim to get rid of those extra spaces. So this is where we're showing the student what formula to use and then how to copy that down. And we show them things like how to use the fill handle just to save some time. So we're walking through not only data cleaning in Excel, but some best practices for time-saving features. So it shows them again what it should look like, different set of data, but very similar to this. And then we go through how to find and replace text. In this case, we're replacing coffee in column H with cola. We found an error in the data, so we go through and we say these are the steps you need to do. So we've spelled them all out on the screen. And this is an example where the Mac screen looks different. So you can see the purple on here for the Mac users, showing them the screen that's a little bit different. And I think that's nice because so many students do have Macs to support them at the same time. Okay, so after we do the find and replace, then we change a field to uppercase. And again, this is a chance to talk about standardization of data. In this case, we have Minnesota and Ohio abbreviations capitalized in different ways. So there is a function for that, the upper function, and we can go through and show them how to do it. We've got data to format as currency. So we go through and show them how to do that. And you'll see again that purple box giving them the max screen, the back keystrokes that are needed for that. Okay, and we just go through the steps for that. So our data set has been cleaned. So it's a very easy data cleaning, this Excel beginner project. It has about 5 steps, very straightforward, very quick to clean the data. And then they're going to make a dashboard, 2 visualization dashboard with that. So all those steps are depicted in the tutorial videos. We don't assume that they know how to use Excel at all. So basically, those 7 requirements we just saw, we widen the columns, find and remove duplicate records, remove unwanted characters, replacement text, change to uppercase or lowercase, format numbers, and then we're going to create a 2 visualization interactive dashboard. Now, what that looks like for Excel beginner project, this is what they end up with. They end up with a dashboard that shows total revenue for edible and non-edible products, and then total revenue for snow cone type. And over here is a slicer where they can pick which year. So you can ask questions like, for 2 years prior, what was the edible sales, or what were the edible sales? For the current year, what is the total revenue for snow cone syrup candy apple? Those kind of things. If they've cleaned the data, that's going to show up correctly. They'll be able to answer those questions. Now, just as information, so what does the intermediate project do? Well, the intermediate Excel project adds on probably another 5 or 6 data cleaning steps, and then makes it a 3 visualization dashboard, as you see here. So they still got 1 slicer, 3 visualizations. And we're going to see those visualizations look different in Alteryx and Tableau Prep. Just referring now to Google Sheets, just because I think it's good to have Google Sheets in your back pocket for those students that may not have access to a laptop. Google Sheets, you can see we have two visualizations here, so we did a reasonably okay job. And this is a slicer for Google Sheets. That's what it looks like in there. So Google Sheets beginning project is somewhat comparable to the Excel beginning project, but it doesn't have enough horsepower in Google Sheets to do an intermediate project. But what I do with these in my class is I have step-by-step instructions for the students. They don't need to know anything. And I assign them. I don't have to do hardly anything in class. I tell them that they're available. The data sets are editable. So we provide a data set, roughly 300 records. But you're welcome to take that data set. And one thing you can do off the bat to make it different is duplicate a couple records in it just at random. Because right immediately then yours will be different. You can change a few sales figures. You could change a few of the states. They all are Minnesota or Ohio, but you can change them. So you can play with the data and make it a little bit different. And your data set will be different from everyone else's. Now, I'm going to go over how to request the projects, but when you request the project, what you get is you get a link to the instructor guide. The instructor guide is several pages long, and it's getting longer all the time because we keep adding the projects to it. We have not released all these projects yet. I think we've released 4 of them. And as we release a new project in this whole group, it gets added into the instructor guide. So when you get the email from me after you request it, save the link, because if later on you download it again, it's likely to have another project in that same document. But when you get the Word document, it's a long Word document. In Word, use the navigation pane. So go into View, and then navigation pane, and you'll get this navigation over on the left window there, pane. And for example, the Excel beginner project, if I blow that up, what you're getting is the project instructions for students how to upgrade Office 365 to the latest version, the full data set link, the student handout. You get the tutorial data set that I used in the tutorial video. You get the tutorial videos and PDFs, the links to those. You get the solution files. And then you get some suggested questions to ask students for assessment, and then commonly asked questions and answers. You know, students may have questions about these are just questions that I've gotten in my class with using this. So the general strategy that I use when I do this, I assign as a homework. It's a homework assignment just like any other homework assignment. They use the step-by-step tutorial videos. Generally takes 20 to 30 minutes to complete. I debrief in class. My class is online, so probably take 5 minutes to talk about it. It does not replace any other assignment. It's included. I include it with all my other homework assignments, and students do like doing it. It gives them another look at Excel in a way that they probably haven't looked at it before. To request these projects, there is a link on the screen there, and I'll put it in the chat here. Let me just copy it over. And when you request a project, I generally send those out about once a week. Oops. Well, I'm going to put it in there, even though the font's huge. But I send those out about once a week, and they come from a Gmail account, not my Kent account. Check your spam folder. So if it's been more than a week, you've requested it and you don't see it yet, go into your spam folder. It generally, my emails get classified as spam for whatever reason, probably because there's links to them. So what you get is you get an email back to me. There's a link for the instructor guide, and you can download all those things that I just went through. So when you request the Excel beginner guide, you're actually going to get the Excel intermediate project, I think, is in there. You're going to get the Alteryx and Power BI project. So you're getting the projects that we've released so far, and we're releasing new ones all the time. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for questions, and this is there, smaller font there. Okay, so then also keep in mind that on our website, Accounting is Analytics, we have other projects you're free to request. If you go in, if you can sort by financial accounting, managerial accounting, and then you can browse the projects that are available. There's a quick form you fill out for each one. We do have you fill out the form because we do verify that you are an instructor, that we're not sending the resources out to students, because we do get students' requests occasionally. So at this point, I've talked really fast this morning. I don't have any colleagues on here to slow me down, but I'll open it up for any questions about anything. If you could, okay, let me go over and change. I have a hand raised. Let me allow Mike. There you go, Carolina. Whoops, you can unmute yourself now.
All right, Wendy, thank you so much. I'm very pleased with how thorough and how simple this is to use. Thank you so much for sharing. Can you give us an idea of how do you grade this? What is the points? Is there weighted points for this in the whole scheme of a course? How big of a project, or what is the points value for something like this?
Oh, okay. So going back to just on a real micro level, I grade it by the questions I ask. Can they answer the multiple choice questions? Because I have between 400 and 600 students a semester doing this. So I have to make something that I can actually grade. So it's all multiple choice for me. And that's why we have the dashboard. But in terms of the scope of how much it counts for, I have, so semesters, I'm just doing the math in my head. A semester is 15 weeks long. I probably have 3 or 4 assignments a week. So I would say a typical project is probably going to count for 1 or 2% of their grade, because it's just one more homework assignment. So this is a homework assignment. Maybe the exercises for a chapter are a homework assignment. So very small weight, but I do include probably 8 of these a semester. So they're a tack on about every other week. They get a project like this. Thank you, Carolina. Hey, anyone else have any questions? I see some names I know. Hello, hello. Okay, let me manage here. Okay, I've just unmuted you. I think I'm going to try that for everyone. Okay, go ahead, Richard, I think. Okay. Let's see who had their hand up. People. Okay. So actually, you all have the ability now to unmute, and I've done that. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to stop recording right now anyway. So if you don't want to be on recording.
Good morning. This